The Last Smoke continued. Part 1. You rise from your seat with the same effortless precision you used to kill kings, moving towards the vault behind your chair, a lock only your touch can open. With a soft click, it reveals a single bottle. Ashen Gold, year 117, the last pour. Only one case ever existed. A vintage brewed during the final eclipse of the old moon, aged in starlight-cured barrels, lost in a shipwreck, recovered by sirens, and eventually traded to you in an exchange for a life you didn't take. You retrieve 2 crystal goblets, ones that sing softly when touched, and pour hers first. A small courtesy that says more than words. The liquid shimmers like molten amber laced with sunfire. Then you pour your own. The queen raises the glass, studies it against the light, then takes a sip. A low exhale. She closes her eyes briefly, savoring the moment. Still full of surprises, she murmurs. You raise your own glass, silent, and nod for her to continue. She does. There's been a shift in the world, she begins, gazing out across the clouds. Something older than kingdoms, older than even the Revenant, a power waking beneath the eastern deep, in the drowned lands of Vorth Moral. My seers dreamed of black suns. My spies vanish the moment they speak its name. She takes another drink. A relic has surfaced, a key to something sealed at the world's edge, and every power in the sky and sea is now reaching for it. She looks at you. But they don't know what they're looking for. I need someone who doesn't flinch when the world breaks open. A pause. And I missed smoking with you. She leans back, the goblet resting on her knee, gaze fixed on you with a familiar mix of command and curiosity. The bell rings, clear and resonant, echoing down through the dark tower like a memory waking up. Within moments, your second in command appears once again. Older, grayer, slower in body, but his eyes still sharp. He hasn't missed a day of duty since the last time you left. And the moment he sees her, standing in the lounge with smoke curling around her crown and goblet in hand, his face doesn't show surprise. Only a tired, knowing nod. He says nothing. He doesn't need to. You give him a single line, just as you did decades ago. I'm going out. He inclines his head, slower this time. Of course, sir. No questions, no warnings, no ceremony. Just respect. You move through the vault without pause. Not for ceremony, not for style. You don't take the relics, the legendary loadouts, the enchanted kits reserved for apocalypse class threats. You just grab a cloak, a few blades, a lockpick roll, one weapon you haven't used in decades, just in case. All of it lies scattered around the room like tools in an old god's workshop. As you return, the queen eyes your gear with the raised brow of someone who remembers the full arsenal from the last time. You shrug slightly and say, with the effortless charm that only you can deliver, "Brought too much last time." She laughs, quietly, genuinely, as if the world isn't teetering once again. You both walk towards the dock in silence, side by side, smoke curling behind you. And once more, the Guildmaster leaves the tower. Time for the world to remember what it forgot. The dock opens wide beneath the tower, unveiling a row of airships, each one resting like a sleeping beast, glinting in the high-altitude sun. They are your collection, each one a relic of a past victory, a personal heist, a recovered prize from ancient wars. No two alike. The Iron Widow, armored like a fortress, engines that purr like a lion with a full belly. The Seraphine Fang, sleek, obsidian plated, fast enough to outrun time if pushed. The Laughing Grave, a pirate vessel reforged in shadow steel, haunted by its former crew, still loyal. The Dust Wraith, light as air, silent as death, known to vanish mid-sky. The Ember Saint, gold-trimmed, ceremonial, with a war mage's core that can turn clouds into fire. You walk forward, slowly pulling from your coat a single pre-rolled smoke. This one wrapped in ghost fine paper, packed with star root and frost petal, a blend not meant for casual use. It's the kind that makes colors sharper and decisions heavier. You light it with a lazy flick and take the first pull, then pass it to her. She takes it with a smirk, clearly remembering what these do. You both stand there, smoke trailing in the air between you as the fleet waits. You gesture towards the row of ships with the same motion you once used to command assassins. Your kingdom, your call. The Queen exhales smoke, eyes scanning each ship, lips curling with memory, curiosity, and something just a little mischievous. Then let's make this one poetic. She points towards the Dust Wraith. Silent, unseen, deadly, just like you were. You nod. Fitting. And with that, the crew begins prepping the ship. You and the Queen ascend the boarding ramp, smoke trailing behind you like prophecy. The sky ahead is dark, distant, full of promise and peril. As you stand with the Queen on the upper deck of the Dust Wraith, the wind tugging gently at your cloak, you glance over with your usual calm intensity and ask, "Where are we headed?" She unfurls an ancient scroll sealed in 7 metallic bands. The markings glint like they're alive. The coordinates point to the North Vale Vorthmeral archipelago, specifically a sunken ruin called the Aether Womb. It surfaces once every 50 years during a black tide. That tide begins in 3 days. You nod once. Then the mask of leisure drops, and you move. The crew watches in awe, not out of surprise, but reverence, as you flow through the ship's core like smoke through keyholes. You pass through the engine bay, adjusting the drift fins manually by hand, calibrating wind shards with a touch of old magic. In the control chamber, you take the helm, fingers dancing across the interface, part mechanical, part living ruin, guiding the ship's levitation core into perfect balance. You instruct the sail hands with exact movements, no words. They obey without hesitation, their rhythm matching your precision. You reroute mana thrust channels, flip a lever that hadn't been touched in decades, and adjust the heading with the ease of a master sculptor brushing marble. Within minutes, the Dust Wraith lifts, silent, flawless, a whisper of steel and grace, cutting into the sky with supernatural elegance. Once you're cruising above the cloud line, gliding with purpose towards the forgotten edge of the world, you return to the upper deck. There, you lay out a small silver case and open it with care. Inside, silk soul blend, a delicate fusion of wind lotus, amber root, and a single flake of phoenix ash. This smoke is not for fighting or forgetting. It's for feeling. Everything. You grind it by hand, prepare it with a ritualist's care, and pack it into a smooth obsidian bowl pipe carved with the ruins that hum softly with altitude. You pass it first to the Queen, her lips already curling into a grin. For the journey. She accepts it like a memory reborn. She takes the first hit, exhales, and closes her eyes. Gods, I miss this. You sit beside her at the front of the ship, the clouds parting around the bow as you soar towards destiny once more. Smoke dances around you, twining with the wind, as if the world itself knows you're in motion again. The skies over Vorth and Maural darken the closer you draw. Lightning doesn't flash here, it hovers, caught in frozen arcs between jagged cloud towers. The sea below isn't water but a living void, writhing with bioluminescent glyphs written in no known tongue. The Aether Womb is real, and it is awake. But you are unmoved. With a flick of your wrist and a silent signal to the crew, you begin descent. You navigate flawlessly through the crosswinds and lay-filled disruptions, reading the sky like a second language. The dust wraith touches down on a floating reef, smooth as silk, its hull humming, like it knows exactly who's in command. Part 2. A massive spiral of bone and obsidian rises from the black surf, wrapped in chains that stretch into the sky. The queen gestures towards a collapsed stairway that descends into the ruins below. That's our path. You nod and follow, walking side by side with her as stone gives way beneath your boots. As the wind shifts, the enemy reveals itself. 7 figures emerge from the mist, each one legendary. The Ash Monk, a fire-born assassin who once burned an entire fortress down with a whispered curse. Lady Razelthorn, a blind blade dancer, undefeated in her 100-year reign on the dueling circuit. Gnark the Mute, a 10-ton war beast, enchanted to feel no pain and remember every kill. The Splintered Twins, cursed necro-illusionists who switch bodies mid-combat, sharing one soul. Voltshade, a rogue who once broke into the 9-fold treasury, vanished for years, and now stands watching you with something between awe and resentment. And finally, their leader, Sovereign Karak, once a general of the Sky Tyrants, now a mercenary who commands fallen armies with a single shout. They don't speak. They don't need to. The queen narrows her eyes. You hold up a hand, calm as ever. You take a long pull from your travel pipe, exhale a shimmering wisp, and say with that dry, devilish charm, "You're in our way. Move." Or make this interesting, entertaining. The drowned circle responds the only way legends do. They attack. The queen remains still, confident, unmoving. But you're a ghost, a whisper, a living memory of death. You disarm the Ash Monk mid-strike, flip his own ember blade through his throat, and vanish before the sparks hit the ground. Lady Razelthorn dances at you with 6 blades. You catch 3, dodge 2, and let the last one kiss your cheek, just to remind her she's still alive, before dropping her with a single pressure point. Gnark charges. You leap, land on his shoulder, drive a series of precision daggers into each exposed ruin on his body, and kick off his falling form like a stepping stone. The Splintered Twins try to confuse you. You don't care which body holds the soul. You kill them both at once, daggers spiraling through the air in opposite arcs, returning to your hand before their corpses fall. Voltshade comes at you slow, almost reverent. He grins, tries to match your movement. You nod once, respectfully, then outpace him completely, slit his coin purse, slip his own blade into his back, and whisper, "Keep the lesson." Only Karak remains. He draws a massive sword wrapped in the banners of fallen kings and roars, "I remember you. You killed my brothers." You twirl your dagger once and smirk. Probably. You blur, and by the time his sword hits the ground, he's already falling in pieces behind it. The battlefield goes still. The queen looks at you, impressed even after all these years. You offer her the pipe again. "Warmed up now." She takes it, inhales deep. "Good." Because that was the welcome mat. You lean against the edge of a broken archway, the embers of the pipe glowing faintly in the growing darkness. Your hand is steady, your breath unbothered. Blood and smoke linger in the air like perfume, and the carved stem of the pipe rests perfectly between your fingers as you take another slow pull. The queen watches you from the steps ahead, her crown gleaming faintly under the eerie glow of the Aether Womb's exposed core. You lift your hand, just a small, casual gesture. "Keep the way." No command, no urgency, just trust. She nods once, no longer a girl chasing salvation, but a queen leading a storm, and turns without another word, descending deeper into the ruin. You follow behind her at a deliberate pace, the pipe warm in your hand, the silence full of tension, history, and promise. The descent leads you and the queen into a cavern unlike any you've seen in centuries. The walls are alive with ancient breath, etched in glyphs that shift when you blink, humming with primordial heat. The stone floor is glass smooth, melted by ages of untamed power. The air grows thick, too warm, too still. And then you feel it. A presence. Not magic, not malice. Majesty. The queen freezes beside you as a low rumble shudders through the cavern. Then, out of the molten gloom, rises a creature spoken of in fables even you barely remember. Viranthar, the coil of ash. Scales like forged midnight, eyes like dying suns, wings folded tighter than mountains, but wide enough to cast shadows on continents. Claws that still drip, the ichor of gods slain in forgotten wars. The queen's breath catches, truly afraid now, frozen between fight and flight. She didn't expect this. No one expects him. The dragon's voice is a tidal wave of ancient gravel. "Another trespasser come to seek the womb of storms." It leans low, and its voice narrows, teeth glinting as it towers over the queen. "Say your last words, child of crowns." Then it stops. The massive eyes squint, focus. Recognition blooms like fire catching dry leaves. "Oh, wait a moment." Its great head turns toward you. "Is that... By the shattered veil, is that you, Guildmaster?" You exhale a ribbon of smoke, utterly calm, say nothing. Viranthar steps back slightly, gaze now reverent, almost amused. "You once saved my third clutch from the Vaultfire raiders. Slaughtered half a city for a single unhatched egg." A pause. "I never forgot that." Its gaze shifts back to the queen, tone changing entirely. "She travels with you?" You nod, slow, silent. The shift in the dragon's posture is like watching a mountain bow. Then she walks in peace. With a low exhale, Viranthar turns and reaches one massive claw into a chamber of volcanic glass, pulling forth a small, glowing case sealed in dragon bone. It opens it gently with one claw and pushes it towards you. A refill, it says. A blend known only to my kind, grown in the breath gardens of our elders. Burn it slowly. It sings when it dies. You take it with a respectful nod. The queen is still breathless, watching this ancient force of death treat you like a blood brother. As you walk past the colossal worm, it rumbles one final farewell. Enjoy that smoke, Guildmaster. And then it sinks back into the molten shadows, vanishing as if it had never been. You and the queen continue forward in silence until she finally breathes. What aren't you connected to? You take out the new blend, inspect it, smile faintly as you begin to pack it into your pipe. I've been around. You walk side by side down a long obsidian causeway carved through the bones of a forgotten world. Every step echoes through hollow eternity as ancient vault doors and glowing veins of living magic pulse with each footfall. The Aether Womb is close now. You feel it in your teeth, in your spine. The dragon's smoke drifts between you, smooth, thick, sweet with a bite of lightning. The flavor does sing as it burns, a symphony of ancient notes from the breath gardens of an elder race. You hand her the pipe. She takes a long draw, visibly steadied by it. Then, calmly, without looking at her, you ask, You never really told me. Another puff. The mistake? The objective? What we're even doing down here? What's it going to do for you? She holds the smoke in her lungs for a long second, then exhales slowly into the cavern air. But instead of answering, she counters. Why did you come along? No contract, no details, not even a demand for payment this time. You don't do anything without a reason. You stop walking. You turn to look at her, eyes sharp, but warm. No games, just truth. You know why. A pause, a flicker in her eyes, and then she smiles. Not a regal smile, not the queen, just a Lyra, again. And finally, she speaks. The Aether Womb is a convergence point, a scar where all threads of fate pass through once before becoming what they are. Royalty used to use it to shape bloodlines, control destiny. My ancestors locked it away when it started, changing things too well. She pauses. I made a deal, decades ago, a blood offering to find it again. It wasn't gold I gave, it was something deeper, something personal. And I told myself it was for my people, but it wasn't. She turns to face you now, smoke curling from her lips like confession. I'm here to fix something I can't rule. My heir. She's strong, but broken, crushed by expectations, haunted. I gave her the throne last year, and she's vanishing under its weight. Her hand tightens on the pipe. The womb can give her clarity, cleanse her bloodline, set her path, but it only works if I go in, alone. And I won't come out the same if I come out at all. A long silence. Then she looks at you again. That was the expensive mistake. I thought I could do it alone. She takes one last pull from the dragon's blend, hands you the pipe back gently. But I didn't want to go out quietly. I wanted you here, in case the stars turn. The path narrows ahead. The magic thickens. The womb pulses just beyond the next gate. She looks at you, eyes full of gravity and warmth. You smile, not just with your lips, but with your whole presence. The kind of smile that tells the universe, I understand. The queen says nothing. She senses the shift, feels you take the lead again, not by force, but by inevitability. As you walk the final stretch towards the Aether Womb, the light ahead grows impossible, golden and violet, retracted through the glass that doesn't exist, humming with a lullaby sung by fate itself. The chamber opens like a cosmic cathedral, and at the center floats the womb, a radiant sphere of weaved energy and living memory, suspended over a chasm that has no bottom, only eternity. You casually begin packing a new legendary bowl, selecting from your personal pouch of ashroot pearl and void blossom, the kind of smoke once reserved for rituals lost to time. You light it as the womb pulses in response to your presence, not with resistance, but recognition. You hand the queen the first hit. She takes it, her hands trembling slightly, overwhelmed. She's still trying to process your sudden confidence, your certainty. You exhale, voice calm as the stars. You don't need to go in. She turns sharply. What? Why not? You take another slow pull, then begin your explanation as you step towards the womb like it's an old friend. The Aether Womb. It isn't just shaped by blood. It's shaped by intention, by offering, by history. You draw your dagger. Not a weapon, but a ritual blade, older than any kingdom. You hold it up for her to see. What it truly craves, what it values above all, is choice from a cursed bloodline. A splash of something dark that chose not to be. With no hesitation, you slice across your palm. Dark crimson, thick, ancient, and burning with power, spills into your hand. You flick it with a simple, elegant motion into the womb's radiance. The moment it touches, the light shifts, becomes warmer, faster. It sings. The queen gasps. The womb accepts. A wave of energy rolls outward. She stumbles slightly, clutching your heart, not in pain, but release. Somewhere far away, her daughter awakens from a restless sleep with a clarity she's never known. Her shoulders feel lighter, her hands steadier. The throne no longer crushes her. It awaits her. Back in the chamber, the queen stares at you, eyes wide. How did you... You smile again, this time with smoke curling around your words. Because... I know what I am. You pause. Devil's blood, by choice. Redeemed by action. Dangerous enough to be useful. Calm enough to be trusted. The womb knows that's more valuable than any crown. She steps closer, her voice soft. You satisfied my debt? You nod once. She exhales, relief, disbelief, admiration, and something more, all mixing together. You pass her the bowl again. Smoke it all the way down, you say with a grin. The womb pulses gently behind you. Part 3. The dust wraith glides high above the world, cutting through wind and sky like a blade forged from silence. Clouds roll below the kingdoms long forgotten. The stars are starting to pierce through the dusk above, lazy and golden. You sit at the bow, shoulders just close enough to share warmth without needing words. The smoke between you is mellow, an old blend, the kind meant to be shared only after a storm passes and nothing more must be done. She speaks softly, her eyes not meeting yours at first. She's adopted, she says, referring to her daughter. A girl I met on a pilgrimage through the mountain holds. Barely 12 when I found her, already stronger than anyone in the court. I didn't want a bloodline. I wanted a choice. Someone who deserved the throne, not someone born to it. She glances at you now, her expression calm, but her eyes quietly searching. I ruled alone. No consort, no marriage. It kept the politics clean. It kept me, mine. A pause. But now, with the throne past, I find myself wondering, what am I, if not queen? Her words fade into the wind. She doesn't say anything more. She's not asking a question, not directly, but she waits. You reach into the hidden panel beneath your cloak, one you haven't touched in decades. You retrieve something you never meant to use. A smoking piece so elegant, so perfectly carved in crystalline white wood and threaded in platinum. It was made for a queen and only a queen. The chamber is shaped like a blooming lily, the stem edged with the symbol of a royal blood oath, passed only between those who rule and those who protect. You retrieve a velvet pouch, not ordinary leaf. This one bears the seal of the celestial grove. It has never touched the fire for anyone who isn't of noble line. You begin to pack it slowly, reverently. You don't look at her yet. You let your hands speak first. Then, without flourish, without a title, without a crown, be my queen. Not a demand, not a contract, just a truth offered like a gift of smoke. She stares at the piece as you offer it to her, then to you. For a moment, she doesn't breathe. Then her hands move, slowly, deliberately, as she takes the piece, holds it with the reverence of someone who has held kingdoms, and now holds something more rare. She lifts it to her lips and takes the first pull. The smoke curls like silk in the air between you. I thought you'd never ask. Decades pass. The world changes, as it always has. Kingdoms rise and fall. New myths are born. But atop the obsidian tower of Black Glass Haven, time moves at a different pace. More deliberate, more eternal. Queen Alira stands at the high arched window of the upper chamber, her silver threaded hair braided elegantly behind her, dressed not for rule, but for presence. Age has only refined her. Her beauty now is legacy, carved by wisdom, sharpened by experience, softened by joy. A woman who ruled with fire, danced with danger, and made her home in the arms of the only devil she couldn't outmaneuver. Below in the courtyard, her eyes fix on the clash of steel and shadow. Her sons, 3 of them, each different, yet all dangerous in their own perfect way. Born of royalty and something older. They move like ghosts, strike like storms, and laugh like brothers who fear nothing because their father taught them not to. You are among them, flawless, sharp, alive. Not a lost step, not a breath labored. You spar like it's a game. You win like it's a dance. And she watches, awed, not for the first time, but as if it were. As the match ends and the boys depart to their own paths, scars earned, egos bruised, laughs shared, you ascend the stairs towards her, steps slow and deliberate. You're not in a rush. You've never needed to be. She turns before you arrive. She already feels you. You haven't aged a day, she murmurs to herself. Her smile curls. Then that glint, that twinkle, she adds to herself. I passed on my favorite power to our boys, the one that always kept me at the top. Through every war, every deal, every rival, that little glint in my eye that made men doubt themselves and queens yield. She turns, meeting you as you enter, that same twinkle aimed straight at you. You grin like you did all those years ago when she first smoked beside you. This time, it's her turn. She retrieves a pipe of royal crystal, worn with use and love. She packs it with a blend only she makes, reserved for one person and one moment. She hands it to you, lit and perfect. You take the first hit. Thank you, my queen. She doesn't reply. She just leans forward, eyes never leaving yours, and kisses you. Slow, deep, and without anything between you now but time. The smoke curls into the air above, carrying with it the scent of love, danger, and the end of a perfect story. The devil and the queen, forever entwined. The end.